What's the good word, y'all? It's your boy DKB here. So we have the Wolf of New York. At least if you leave it to Robert Saleh. He mentioned during his press conference yesterday as part of the trio of undrafted free agents that have made the bottom of the New York Jets wide receiver room so far, and we're 7 deep. Nobody really expected that number. We thought there was going to be serious consideration if we would even carry 6. And again, this is just the initial 53-man roster. We didn't have our punter. We cut the fullback. Even though we brought both of them back, you still wonder how they may necessarily plan to utilize all 3 of these guys. And there's definitely a case to say that can get done. But specific to Irvin Charles, he's a guy that's probably stood out the least from the trio of the undrafted free agents. And keep in mind, he's not a part of this class. He's from 2 years ago. So he's already had a year with the team. He's dealing with the new coaching staff change as well. But Aaron Rodgers has shouted out all 3 of these young men. And he seems to have captured the attention of Robert Saleh, right? Our CEO-style head coach definitely has a pretty strong post for who's looking like a standout in all 3 phases of the game, which is actually amazing considering what we've seen before out of not only our head coaches, but also our offensive coordinators. And so for him to be able to recognize this, whether it's coming from the position coach specifically or not, I think is definitely important. So what is Irvin Charles going to bring to the table? I think we're looking at a guy that maybe can be our Justin Hardy type replacement here, at least the way that he's being talked about right now. He's kind of looked at as a special teams ace during special teams, and when you look at what he's done during preseason, he's definitely backed it up. Led our team with 39 special team snaps this season over the course of the 4 games. And there's a few things that he has done exceptionally well, which would have made the case for the team to not want to risk losing him to waivers, especially if they plan on overhauling that special teams unit or replacing a significant piece like a Justin Hardy, which may not be the case, but this definitely gives them a viable conversation to have. So when he's been on the punt unit, they've utilized him as a gunner. He's dominated his one-on-one reps. He's been able to speed down the field, get past tackles, sometimes complete them completely out the way. And it's this type of ability that we've seen him been able to utilize to go out there and force opponents to fair catch when they don't necessarily want to, right? You're trying to flip the field if you're especially within the 20-yard line, and you have these guys that are flying down the field much quicker than expected, particularly if you don't have a punter who's good at being able to handle that hang time. If it's kind of, a line drive, if you will. We don't necessarily see a ton of those, but if it's not hanging up there for 2.5 seconds or more, then you have these guys like Justin Hardy, Irvin Charles that are getting down there, and they're forcing the returner to make a business decision, because 9 times out of 10 Irvin Charles is connecting with you, and he's going to get a stop if he can't force a fair catch, which is of significant value for us, that he happens to be an excellent open field tackler when those situations have arisen where he wasn't able to force a team to go ahead and fair catch it. And then on the opposite spectrum of things, most of our special team aces, they're good in one area, they're not necessarily so good in another. Irvin Charles has been able to outdo himself in both aspects, going out there to defend returns and also going out there to help execute, as I mentioned, with the open field tackle. But when it comes to the return unit on our side, lining him up with an Xavier Gibson or a Mecole Hardman, if you will, he's great at being able to block to open up lanes. And I think it was the Giants game we've seen that in, where he was able to help open things up for Alex Erickson for a solid 20-something plus yard gain, which is phenomenal for us. So I thought things would be between Jason Brownlee and Irvin Charles, both 2 big guys, both bring the ability to go out there and high point the ball, do different things like a big man would be able to. Obvious red zone threats within this offense, but I think offensively, purely in terms of receiving capabilities, the team loves Jason Brownlee more. But with Irvin Charles, you still have the upside for him to be a solid offensive piece for you as a receiver, and you can rely on him as a special team elite player. So if he does get the privilege to do so, he could potentially be challenging Justin Hardy if they both make the team as our best player at the position. So we'll see how they want to finagle trying to carry 7 guys, right? A lot of us think that they may have to risk having a 4th tight end and only walking in with 3. Maybe we do end up ultimately cutting our fullback. We'll have to see what the roster gymnastics look like. Maybe for now they just want to see if they truly want to go that route. Who knows? But keep an eye on our guy here, and let me know what you think about Irvin Charles compared to our other undrafted free agents. Would you prefer to go with him over one of the other 2? And I'll catch you guys again. Peace.